That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It is Commissioner Cooper, and it's time to get on your feet for a Peat Podcast. Welcome into the building. As my boy Vern Lundquist once said, playoff excitement is in the air. And I got my main woman here to, I was going to say my main man. I had to switch that up. My main woman here to break things down for us and get things rolling. Nat, welcome into the building.
All right, what's going on, Cool?
Whole lot of nada. Unfortunately, missing Jones tonight. He's probably too excited watching those Knicks. He talked about he got something to do. We know what's up, bro.
Knicks, yeah.
Hopefully, we'll see Travis pop in a little bit later. But if you're watching us on YouTube, do us a solid. Hit the subscribe, hit the like, get a comment in. Little things stopping you from doing it. Big things popping for us when you do. So we do appreciate you. All right. Well, like I said, we got a lot to break down tonight because the playoffs are on and popping. And speaking of popping, we got to bring in Brian to talk about injuries. So unfortunately for some NBA players, things were popping indeed. Brian Scott from the injured list, welcome into the studio.
Oh, thanks for having me, guys. It's a pleasure as always.
We appreciate you being here. Well, the floor is yours, my friend. Tell us about all these injuries, and you can skip over Miami if you want.
I'm not going to skip over them because Jimmy Butler's out with what some reports have said is a severe MCL sprain, which is kind of crazy because he played through 3 quarters with it, if that's the case. But now they're saying he's out for the remainder of the series. That's a big blow to them. Not sure how they're going to bounce back from that. Speaking of injuries, moving down the list here, let's get the obvious guys out of the way. Giannis, calf, he's been out since eerily is familiar to last year, I think, when he injured something and took a while to come back with his knee, hyperextended it, whatever. I don't think we'll see him back anytime soon, depending on how the series kind of plays out here. It's game 2, so we'll see. If they start getting in trouble, start coming down the wire, I'm sure we'll see him back at some point. Same thing can be said for what's his nuts there over in L.A., Kawhi Leonard. I mean, listen, we know that this guy's knee is all jacked up. I could have told you this was going to happen at the beginning of the season. I probably did because he just can't do it anymore. Load management's no longer a thing, but this is the playoff equivalent of it, sitting him out with knee inflammation. He hasn't practiced in a full capacity since March 29th. Again, I don't think we're going to see him at all. Even if the Clippers are in it, I don't think we're going to see him, period. That's unfortunate, but, that's the way it is with him because his knee is shot. And then speaking of knees, I mean, there's a couple of guys on my list here with knee issues. Jalen Suggs just went down with what they're calling a knee strain. Looked more like a contusion. Kind of went knee on knee with somebody during the game. Listed as questionable. We'll have to see if he plays. I don't know if Zion's going to be back. Hamstring issue. I mean, this guy, like everything just seems to pop up on him. And it's never good. Grayson Allen tweaked his ankle, sprained it. I think ended up sitting out the rest of that game, but he's listed as questionable heading into game 2. Anthony Davis dealing with some low back issue. He's been dealing with that all season. Not a surprise there. Listed as questionable. We'll probably see him, though. They'll be without Christian Wood and Cam Reddish, both who have one guy has a knee and the other guy has an ankle issue. So I don't think either of them are going to be suiting up. I think that's pretty much it. I don't know. It's NBA playoff time, man. Let's go. Get out there.
Let's get it. Get excited. Brian, where can we follow, subscribe, get all your great content, my friend?
Yeah, so the Injured List podcast is on all the podcast platforms. You can find it there. And then www.theinjuredlist.com. Check that out. Check out my social media handles at Injured List Pod, at the Injured List Podcast. I'm around. I'm all over the place these days, Commish.
And coming up, yeah, this
we got a huge live draft party special live stream. We're live here in North Carolina in Cornelius, not too far from my home here, at a place called H2 Public House. Myself, Dan Mader, Chris Fox, and the crew will be putting on a live 2-day streaming event covering round 1, 2, and 3. We'll have some special guests popping in definitely via the airwaves, but possibly even live. We'll have to see. We're working on some stuff. We'll have promotional giveaways, all kinds of cool stuff from local businesses. So if you're in this area, if you're listening, come on by. We'll be hanging out, doing our thing.
All right, make sure you check it out. Stick and stay on the Fantasy. I was about to call us the Fantasy Sports Corporation. I forgot.
Not anymore.
Network. Stick and stay right here. We'll get you covered on all the latest. All right, Bri, appreciate you. Good luck this weekend. I will be watching and commenting and enjoying the draft with you guys. So have a great time, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right.
Let's get into some playoffs.
Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me?
So real quick, I think things played out kind of like we thought. Well, let's just kind of briefly go over just what had happened to lead up to where we are right now. For instance, obviously Sixers winning over the Heat, then the Bulls beating the Hawks, and then the Heat beating the Bulls subsequently. So any big surprise to you on the East side? I mean, that kind of played out like we thought it was, but anything that surprised you within those games?
I thought the Bulls were going to pull that one out. I think that, I don't understand Miami sometimes. Get a draft pick, man. Get a higher draft pick. You seem to always be meddling.
Pat Riley's day.
I just don't get it. I don't 2 years in a row just fighting for the play-in spot means something is wrong. And just he's not doing anything to fix it. That's the thing. You strike out on one person and then you're not going for the next thing. And I think that's my problem with Pat Riley right now. I don't know if he's losing his mojo, but I just think that he's putting the team in purgatory and he's getting saved by Eric Spoelstra being so brilliant with his coaching. So I didn't understand that, but I was very shocked to see more so on the West Coast, with the Lakers not throwing that game to get a better matchup with OKC. Now you're with going against a team that you can never beat. I don't get it. You are also always in the play-in now, and or an 8th seed. Regardless, you have a better roster, but you're not doing better. And they want to face a team that they don't have enough to beat. And I don't get the game plan there. It's not smart. So now they're going to potentially go down 0-2. I don't really see it necessarily changing. So I just don't understand the thought process of a couple of these teams.
I think I'll just say this on that note. Now you skipped ahead of me. I was trying to go and build up the West and send it to you, but it's okay. I'm with that. Listen. The bottom line is, can you see LeBron James? And listen, I love LeBron. Obviously, came down, gave me some great moments down here in Miami. But obviously, he's got an ego, and rightfully so, if you ask me. But he's got an ego. There's no way in hell I could see him on his going out tour, him being like, yeah, I'm going to drop a game so I could play somebody easier. I just couldn't see with that mentality where his head's at, or as big as it is. I just couldn't see him ever being saying that. But I could see your thought process, and we talked about that last week. It makes sense, and in a business sense, hey, an easier opponent, we could possibly move on. I totally feel you. But LeBron, he ain't letting that happen. All right, let's go on and talk about what is going on right now, because look what we got here: the Cavs and the Magic. Now, the Cavs lead the series 1-0 by winning last week. Oh, I got the wrong graphic up, don't I? No, they won game 1. I just didn't put 1 in the Cavaliers. My bad. 97-83. Now, game 2 is happening right now, and it ain't looking good for the Magic. They're getting whacked right now. Let's see what the score, little update here. 87-69 with 7:11 now left. And we talked about the injuries for the Magic. With Jalen Suggs going down. Paolo, Banchero played pretty well last game for them as well. And on the Cavs side, obviously Donovan Mitchell with 30 points came up huge for the Cavs in that game. Evan Mobley and Jared Allen also played some good minutes as well. So Any thoughts on this? Does this surprise you? Because we thought this Magic team could be a little something. They were almost up to the second seed. So any surprises? What do you think of this series so far?
This is kind of a snooze fest. This series, you have to be honest. Unfortunately,
now, hold on a second.
Yeah.
Didn't you tell me?
Yeah.
I mean, last week you said this was the best playoffs of all time, but we got a snooze fest? Come on now.
So when I said that, I was not including Orlando and Cleveland. I'm literally talking about your Lakers versus Denver. I'm talking about New York versus Philly. To see one of those teams go out in the first round is insane. Like, to not have them in the next round. I never had Cleveland and Orlando in my thoughts. When I said that, you gotta have a snooze fest in
context. I got you.
You gotta have one snooze fest, and this is it. I just think that when it comes to Orlando, they're just not ready yet. They don't have that thing just yet. They don't have that go-to duo just yet. They just have a lot of really good pieces. They need a great one, so and that's okay. The fact that you got here, you're the 5th seed, you have something to cheer about, but I also said that with the of Donovan Mitchell just being too good for everyone. He's just going to outplay everyone. He's just too damn good. There's nothing about that. And he's been dominant. Right now he has 19 before, 1 steal, 1 block, and they're up 19 points, 6:19 to go. He does enough where he gets the team to where they need to go, and he's healthy. He looks good. So I just think Orlando is outmatched, but that is okay.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about that actually prior to the playoffs starting. And we talked about them being young and just not having that go-to guy that's important down the stretch. But then they kind of surprised us with this. All of a sudden, they almost had the second seed. So then we kind of took a step back and like, wait a minute now.
Right.
It's all about teams getting hot at the right time. Unfortunately, it looked like the Magic got really cold really fast as the playoffs started, unfortunately. Right now, down 2-0. But again, just like and I always talk trash about the sports media during the NBA playoffs, because when a team loses a game, it's always like, oh, it's over for them. But this one, it might be over.
Yeah, it's
it might be over. All right, let's go to the Knicks and the 76ers. We're talking about stuff that's going on right now. Now, we know that the Knicks lead the series 1-0. Game 1, 111-104. And speaking of, a lot of these playoff games so far haven't been all that, but right now we got a close game 2. Right now, the Knicks are up 1 point, 68-67. 4 minutes left in the third quarter. My bad. So any surprises so far from you in this series? This is a little bit less of a snooze fest for you, Matt.
No, this is fun. This one is fun. You would hate to see one of these teams go out. You don't want to see either the Knicks or Philly go out because you want to see them in the second round. So this is definitely not a snooze fest. I am a little shocked because, Embiid is going to, regardless if he's on one leg or not, Embiid can get you 30. It's just what it is. He is just that great. Tyrese Maxey, 20 points, 5 rebounds, 9 assists. This is what he can do. The next issue is they need a third consistent scorer that they do not have. And I said this while I was watching the game, if they don't get Kelly Oubre, I'm picking on Kelly Oubre for a reason, because I just think that he is crafty enough to give them a little bit more. While maybe Harris gets you rebounds. Harris, is a good defender and then knocks down some shots when called upon. But Kelly Oubre is my problem here, and they're not getting him going. He doesn't have enough shots. He's 1 of 5. He's not getting enough shots up. You're giving the shots to Kyle Lowry, who is spotty. Zero sense to me. Kyle Lowry should not be getting shots. It doesn't matter what he did in game 1. He's not the kind of guy to average 15 points at this stage of his career. That's a recipe for disaster. Nicholas Batum, 3 points. Buddy Hield, his fall off from Indiana is atrocious. And teams are just not getting him involved. And I don't understand it. He is a good defender. He's damn sure a good 3-point shooter. Not getting him involved. He's got 2 points and 1 rebound. And then Paul Reed has zeros all across the board. not a rebound in sight, not 1 point, not one steal, one assist, nothing. But Tobias Harris has 10 points. This is going to feel like a loss to Philly if they don't get someone else going. So,
yeah, it's going to feel like a loss because it might end up being one.
Exactly.
Totally agree. Kelly, we're at last game, only 10 points. I mentioned about him struggling a little bit. Joel Embiid, obviously, 29, Tyrese Maxey with 33. Yep. And then the first game, what was really impressive to me, just looking at the box score in itself, look at Josh Hart, 22 points. Jalen Brunson, 22 points. Miles McBride, 21 points. So Knicks finding other ways to get it done. As you mentioned, the 76ers need to find that, or like we just said, they're going to find themselves in the 2-0 hole real quick, which is not going to be good, obviously, for them.
And also to real quick to note, Philly should take advantage of New York right now. Their bench is giving them nothing. So their bench has 4 points. McBride had 21 points, 22 points in that first game that you mentioned. He's got 4 points right now, and everyone else has 0. This is the game that you can steal. And
this does seem like that time in a good series when that's always seems like that second game when the team will come in and right. do that upset just to make it a series now, as they say.
Yeah.
Well, boy, Travis ain't in the building, but I'm sorry, bro. We got to move on.
Come on.
We got to move on without you, bro. Look at this. And I'm now I know why he ain't here. I just realized. Lead the series 1-0 as we kind of talked about. Game 1, Nuggets 114-103. Yes. Game 2 later on tonight, 10 p.m. Again, gonna ask any surprises, anything. What do you think? I mean, I think I already know what you're gonna say, but what do you think about game 1 and this upcoming game 2?
It's just weird to me how much D'Lo struggles, how much Reeves struggles versus the same team. You would think that you have so much tape on what you did wrong that you would now understand what to do right the next time. It just does not happen for these Lakers. They give you the same song and dance, and we're all tired of the tune. When it comes to this team, Davis, I really do like AD. I like what he gives you. I just think that he needs a little more here, and he just doesn't have it. Hayes is the next big that they have. He gave you 4 minutes with 0 points and 3 rebounds. Ridiculous. You go then, so it's all you have is AD, and then you have Rui. It's not working. This team is not working, and this is the second year in a row where we see, the third year technically, where we're seeing this. It's just not working, and they got to do something different. The bench is giving you nothing. You had 11 points from Prince. That was everyone else had 0s and maybe 3 rebounds here, 2 rebounds, 4 rebounds, and 1 rebound, but no other points. So 11 points off your bench is not going to get it done. Davis and James in show. Everyone else is just not showing up. You cannot the Denver Nuggets like this. It's not going to happen. And I think that just Denver is just outsmarting the Lakers too, because they turn it on, and all of a sudden you think that the game is close, and then all of a sudden Denver just goes on this 15-0 run at some point in time. You're like, where the hell did the time go? And it's not close anymore. So I don't know what the Lakers can do other than make shots tonight.
Yeah. One thing I'll just suggest, just watching game 1, is that Anthony Davis should man up, if that's okay for me to say. And as big as that guy is, I don't see the steal a line from Vince McMahon from back in the day, the ruthless aggression. Yeah. That position for me, like that's what I'd want to see my big man doing. And I get it. He plays more offensively, but I think specifically for this series, he needs to be more aggressive and getting down, and when he's down low and putting pressure on the Nuggets. That was one thing that I just kind of noticed. And obviously there are some other people who need to step the hell up other than LeBron and Anthony. All right, let's go to a little more interesting series. The Phoenix Suns against the Timberwolves. And, the Timberwolves, we talked about a lot prior to being, we talked about somebody being soft. This was one of them. They lead the series 1-0. Timberwolves, 120-95, a beatdown of the Suns in game 1. Game 2 will be Tuesday at 7:30. Any surprise to you from game 1, and what do you expect to see in game 2 now?
Yeah, so my issue with this is the rest of your guards and your wings gave you nothing. Off the bench, Royce O'Neal gave you 14, and then it was like 4 points between 2 other people. But Nurkic, he's got to get a double-double. He's got to get you like 15 and 10. In this series, he's giving you 9 and 4, but he's giving you a lot of defense. He's really doing what he has to do. It's unfortunate that Eubanks, didn't give you much either. Grayson Allen, as we heard, I think he tweaked his ankle. So he gave you, he's been a sniper. He's the best 3-point shooter in the league this year. He gave you 4 points. That's a big problem. Somebody's got to replace him, now. And then you go and look at the big three, Durant, can't say much about Durant. He gave you 30, 31, 7, 1, 1, 1 right across. So he gave you everything from every statistical category as a positive. Booker is my problem. This is the problem that I'm having. Booker has to figure out how to get going. If you're going to allow Beal to be the facilitator, set up the offense now, where it frees up Booker, then Booker has to actually get free and do something. The problem was Booker in this game for me and not replacing Grayson Allen's production. So if that's the case, and Eric Gordon's going to have to step up, whether it be a Kobe, or Beal has to up his points and maybe get in the 20s. He only gave you 15, solid, but you need more from the big three if Grayson Allen's not going to be there. So I still have Phoenix. I think that once they figure out, what to do with Grayson Allen minutes, I still believe that that tandem can get it done in 7 games.
Yeah, I wouldn't say you're wrong. Watching that, I found myself, it was funny because I found myself watching that game being like, man, to more Durant, and then I'm looking at his stat line like, damn, like what else can I ask for this man to do? But it just seemed like, like you mentioned, because they went on this really cold streak there down, and it was just like they couldn't find anything. And like I just said, where's Kevin Durant? So I see what you're saying, and it makes sense without certain players involved in this series. But this is their time, Phoenix, to jump on them. But after game 1, I hate to sound like again the media, if you will, but that certainly made me take a step back and like, man, the Suns maybe not all it that I might have thought of in the first place. All right, let's go back to the East and talk about another series. The Bucks and the Pacers.
Yes.
Lead 1-0. Stepped up big in game 1, 109-94. Game 2 tomorrow night at 8:30. Any surprise from game 1? What do you see for game 2?
It took 80 games for Damian Lillard to prove that it was a good trade, I guess. He's got to keep doing it. I was kind of shocked that he exploded the way he did, but then again, they don't have necessarily a great team defense. They really have some individual guys that can give you a lot of problems. The problem in this game, Halliburton stinks. I think that Halliburton is atrocious right now. I don't understand what's going on. I don't know if he's healthy. I don't know if he's just being outmatched. He can't be being outmatched. I think he's too good for that. But if he is, this is a travesty, and I don't see it going well for Indiana if Halliburton doesn't step up. Siakam gave you 36 points, 13 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, and 2 blocks. He's doing everything he can. And then the next person is Miles Turner at 17 and 8 with 2 assists and 2 steals. And then, you got TJ McConnell giving you 10 and 2. And then there's a few points here and there from a few guys. Obi Toppin has got to get into the game. You got to figure out how to get Nesmith more shots. if Halliburton is not going to play the way he was in the first half of the season, then they need to pretty much just wrap this up.
Yeah, watching this particular game, like you said, I was real impressed with Dame and was like, okay, this was like you said, this is what the trade was all about right here. Yeah. So, honestly, after seeing that, and I wasn't real impressed with the Pacers all year, to be honest, but there were also that sneaky team that you kept being like, and then they come up and prove you wrong. So right now, I'm looking at this Bucks sweep right now, but again, I say that, and Pacers win tomorrow night. So there you go.
We have to remember that the Pacers are one of the highest scoring teams of the season, which is why we have to consider them that they keep beating Milwaukee. That's another thing. They beat Milwaukee with Giannis.
That's true.
So it's not like lost upon us why we think that they are better than what they are, because they can be. Halliburton just needs to step up and actually control this team. And you also have a better running mate in Siakam. You did not have that before. And Siakam, he's battle tested. So, and clearly 36 points. He's battle tested. He understands what to do. So we'll see. And we'll see if Dame can keep it up. We'll see if Middleton can continue to give you a double-double. We don't know. So to be seen.
To be continued next week on the 3P. That's right. Let's go. Next game, Clippers, Mavs. This is us here now. Clippers lead this series 1-0. Good game one, 109-97. Game 2 tomorrow night at 10 p.m. So any surprises from game 1? What do you think of game 1? And what do you think about game 2?
Not one damn surprise, because I said that the Clippers, they have something to show you. This team is actually well-rounded. They have guys that can actually pick up the scoring slack. All right. They have guys that are actually decent defenders on this team, and collectively, they're a good defensive team. I am not in the least. I'm not shocked by this at all, and I have the Clippers winning this series. I just think that when it comes to, off the bench, you got Russell Westbrook. He gave you 13, 4, and 42. That's a solid bench production. Norman Powell only gave you 5 points. He can give you more. He's one of those guys that on any given night, he can give you 15 points. James Harden. You say that he's not good. The next minute, this man explodes for 28 points, 2 rebounds, assists, and a couple of blocks. So he's getting after it. Paul George following with 22. Zubac. We have to talk about Zubac, because Zubac is creating a mismatch that everyone thought he was going to get played off the court in this series. And what happened is he gave you 20 points, 15 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 1 block, and he only got 2 personal fouls. This man is better than what you guys think he is. Consistent, and you gotta give him credit, because if you look at the starting bigs, as for Dallas gave him 14 minutes and 3 points. He had the biggest dud, I think, of the day. It's just terrible. And then PJ Washington 11, solid. It's all right, but the rest, and then the next big is Derek Lively, who everyone's excited about. He gave you 19 minutes, 3.4 rebounds. They're gonna get in trouble if Zubac can control what's going on and control these other bigs in Dallas who are supposed to be positive. This is going to be done in 5 to 6 games.
Wow. Okay, then. Woo-wee. Here I was thinking this is going to be a great series, and that's like, no, this is over. It's done. The Clippers are going through.
If.
An if. Adam Hurley, thank you again for your comment. We appreciate you. He says Tari Prince, plays sorry-ass defense.
Absolutely.
Makes the entire offense slow down because you're slow as fuck, basically, and all you do is shoot threes. You had a great game, though. Your plus-minus was 0. All right, Adam, thank you for that. Obviously, got some inner demons you want to work out there with Mr. Prince, so we appreciate your comment, and keep on.
I get it.
We appreciate that. Now, listen, Speaking of the word if, I might be saying that a few times as I bring this up because F is what I give the Miami Heat. But obviously, down Jimmy Butler. We don't even need to waste much time on this. It is what it is. Game 1, 114-94. Game 2, Wednesday, probably going to be much of the same. Can't even do no trash talk. Can't even be a little bit fun about this. Heat coming in wounded. Not the kind of wounded team that you want to see the number 1 Boston Celtics against. But I'm going to give you the floor. Go ahead. I know you want to boast a little bit, so go ahead and do that. Do your thing. And we already know what's up for game 2, so I don't need to rub it in. Go right ahead.
No, I'm not rubbing it in. I did not want to play Miami wounded. That's why I was like, I really hope Chicago just finds a way to pull this out. And then they didn't, because I was like, at least they're healthy, and they got some bigs that can give you some problems, and DeMar DeRozan could be fun. You give me Miami, which, I think we all have read this book before. So we seem to play each other every year. There's not much to say. I mean, this year, even when you guys were healthy, we still dominated those games. And we showed a difference than last year. Last year, I think it was back and forth in the regular season, but they were close, and you guys had us, and everything. This year it's just been different. So I was going to take Boston regardless. It might have been 6-7, but I'm still going to take Boston. I really do like Bam. I'm going to keep saying this. I am a fan of Bam. When Bam is aggressive, I think you guys can be so much better when you play through him. I just think that there's too many jump shooters and 3-point shooters, and then you forget about the guy that's super talented, in the paint. It just baffles me every time. I will say Tyler Hero is ass. Tyler Hero is a chunk of ass, and I don't understand what you guys see in him, but I love when he plays for Miami because he takes the worst shots ever, and we know we're going to get those rebounds. So I like your team. I can't stand Tyler Hero. And who should win this?
So I'm going to just chime in real quick on the Bam comment, because I felt like I was going to say that, but I'm like, damn, I feel like I say that for everybody. But it is true. Like Bam, especially when he gets aggressive, calling it back to that whole big man being aggressive thing. The offense looks better. The team looks better. So you're so right in that regard. And on Tyler Hero, to be honest with you, during the bubble and there was some times where Tyler Hero has been on and shown that. But I think this was a case of almost a Johnny Manziel. I don't know how the same kind of comparison, but almost a kid that's come up. He played well in a very weird time, obviously during COVID, but he played well on a big stage. And I think that might have got to his head a little bit. I know he's had some injuries and stuff, but maybe he's just been a little too cocky and get his butt in the gym instead of trying to be on South Beach. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I think another team, honestly, who would maybe send him and help him figure out other things that he can do. Just he can shoot. I'm not saying he can't score. I'm calling him ass because I'm being funny, but there's parts of his game that he can expand on and be potentially better. It's just not happening in Miami. I'm seeing shit 4 years in a row, and I'm just like, dude, you're hurting your team. They played so much better without you last year. When you weren't there, they played so damn well, and you're here and chucking the shots. You're not setting up your offense. You're not looking for the best shot available. I don't get it. 4 years going, I don't get it. So,
like I said, looks very undisciplined. That's what it looks like. Undisciplined play. Like I said, maybe just get into his head a little bit. Like you said, good change of scenery. Go to Indiana. Go to OKC. Get your ass in the Midwest and just play basketball. How about that? All right, let's go to the one series or the one game that so far was really good so far in this playoff series. Thunder pulled it out, eked it out against a Zion-less, Pelican team. They won 94-92. And man, I mean, that last shot, he had a chance to get it in. So without, it was just it came off the back of the rim. I think that was McCulloch who made the shot. So they were that close from pulling off the upset against the Thunder. I know Travis, he talked a lot of trash on OKC. So I kind of wish he was here and get his thoughts on game one, because I'm sure he's ready to rub it in on him. But game two, 9:30 on Wednesday. What do you think? What do you think of game one? What do you think about game two?
I loved this game. I loved it. And I want to say this, and I want to be very clear. OKC is very lucky that Zion is not playing, because this game was missing a dominant force like Zion. If Zion were healthy and in this series, you were looking at a Pelicans victory, an 8th seed beating a 1 seed, and it was going to be convincingly. You can abuse Oklahoma City in the paint. It just, they're thin. There's nothing they can do about it. They can do help defense, everything, but there's not much you can do about it when you're small. So Jonas Valanciunas, so JV, he had 13 points, 20 rebounds. He had 20 rebounds. This is supposed to be a game where he's a little too slow to compete. He wasn't. He was actually a big plus in 29 minutes. Gave you a couple assists and 1 steal. I'm hoping for a block or so from JV next time. But he can literally take advantage of this smaller OKC team. It came down at 2 points when Oklahoma City is the number 1 seed, been dominant pretty much all year. But basketball, it's a game of matchups, and it's a game of runs. Brandon Ingram shot back, in this game. Took a lot of bad shots. He had 12 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists. He was terrible, actually, this game. If you think about it, he could have given you 20 on an inefficient night. They would have won this game. And they had all the opportunities to win. He's got to be better. Brandon Ingram's got to be better. Herb Jones has got to shoot better. He was terrible. 2 of 10, I believe, from 3. 2 of 10 from the field. 2 of 8 from 3. CJ's got to take better shots. Trey Murphy, he was solid. He was 8 of 18, but he was 5 of 12 from 3. He hit some pretty clutch shots. They need some efficiency in the series, but they're fighting, and that's what they're showing us. They can fight. They're very well matched. 28 points for Jay, but he had to fight for every point. I will say that if you watch, he had to fight. It wasn't easy for him to get that, and he actually looked a little humbled in this game. The box score doesn't read what you see in the game at all. Josh Giddey didn't give you much. Lou Dort didn't give you much, but he did give you good defense. Jalen Williams, 19, 7, and 4. Solid. I really like him. And Chet Holmgren, 15, 11, 2 assists, 1 steal, 5 blocks. This rookie is amazing. So this is probably my favorite series to watch next to the Clippers in Dallas, because they're so evenly matched that anything can happen. So great first game.
Yeah, and it's funny because I wouldn't have said that prior to the playoffs starting, looking at all these, the matchups. This was one I didn't have pegged as a great, series, but, watching that first game, echo your statements totally. If Zion's there, we're talking a totally different ball game right now. So yeah, it was really fun to watch that game, and especially, like I said, after all these most of the first series games were just kind of blowouts, unfortunately. So it's finally good to see some good basketball. Speaking of, let's give a quick update right now. The Magic did make a little run back, but they lost game 2. So the Cavs are up now 2-0. They lost 96-86. So lost by 10 at least. They closed it up a little bit. The Knicks went on a little bit of a run, but looks like 76ers are kind of climbing back in. So right now, 87-80. For the Knicks with 7 minutes or about 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter. So some exciting action. Let's close this show out so we can at least watch the fourth quarter. Nat, before we do that, let's get you in the paint. All right, I only got one person to assist to tonight, so I seen that down low. Let's throw it to her in the paint. You got 60 seconds. Go ahead and let it off your chest.
All right, so let's start with Boston. Don't play with your food. This team, Miami Heat, they're depleted. They're injured. Got no business playing around. Just get it done, and get it over with, and then go rest for Cleveland. I don't think Orlando has a shot, but get some rest for Cleveland. But just continue to take good shots. Last night, you guys took very good shots because you were open half the time. That's what their defense did. They left you open. Continue to take good shots. Don't force it. And get out of this series a lot sooner than you did last year, in the first round last year. Let's continue to have great hoops, and I'm looking forward to seeing the matchup with the Clippers in Dallas. I think it's going to go the distance. I think they are very well matched. It's a fun series, and the Pelicans take better shots. You got to set your offense up, slow down, and take better shots. If you take better shots, you might shock the world.
Ooh, I should have hit that dang buzzer. You start talking about play with your food, talking about my team. Damn. Anyway, all right, guys, we appreciate you tuning in. Please check us out next week. Obviously, we'll be back to update all the first round games, and we'll bring up if second round is there. I don't know about then. Who knows? Some of these might be over by then. Who knows? I doubt it, but but we'll give you a quick update, obviously, on those. Also, just some news. We are out on audio as well. So if you're out driving in your car, you can listen to us in the comfort of your car. So check us out there. Give us a follow, like, comment, whatever the hell those podcast things do. And we do appreciate it. All right, guys. So from us to you, we'll see you next week. And we are out.
Later.